Final Fantasy Tactics The Ivalice Chronicles arrives on September 30th on all platforms, and I'm pretty excited about it, but we've not really known about its content, what's returning, what's new, and what's cut. But recent interviews with the developers of Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster have come to light, and we now have an indication of what to expect. And in today's video, we're going to talk all about that. And I have a feeling there might be some people out there that are not going to be happy about that. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you want to support the channel, please hit that like button, and if you want to stick around for some more Final Fantasy content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. And of course, get involved in the comments down below, because I think some of the things that we're going to talk about today is going to get a lot of people talking. So let's get straight into it. Final Fantasy Tactics The Ivalice Chronicles. I think it's amazing that we're finally getting Final Fantasy Tactics on modern platforms for both old-time fans and new fans to play. I am one of those that have not played Final Fantasy Tactics. I own War of the Lions, but I've never ever dived in, and I'm using this remaster as the opportunity to do that. So for me, I'm all in, regardless of what content is included. And there are things that are not going to be in this version that I think people might not be happy with. But what we are getting in Final Fantasy Tactics is two modes, classic and enhanced. Classic harkens back to just what it felt like when it was back on the PlayStation 1, but with the War of the Lions translation. So for those that just want that experience of what it was like back in the day, that is the perfect mode for you. You'll get all of the bells and whistles that came with that. I think there's a few quality of life like autosaves and a few tweaks when it comes to maybe game-breaking bugs that were fixed in the Wars of the Lion version. But then we have enhanced, which gives us a brand new UI that gives us turn orders. Everything just looks really, really nice. I know there's a lot of people that are not a fan of the sprite work, but I'm all right with it. I know that some people would prefer the pixel perfect, but I guess that's why the classic version is included, to keep those original fans happy. Not only that, in the enhanced version, we have so many things included. We have voice acting, and because of this, the script has been reworked, because originally the script was intended for people to read, and they say that if they got the voice actors just to read that, then it wouldn't really convey emotion or the story that's being told. So they decided to rework it to give the ability to the voice actors, both English and Japanese, to convey the story, tell the story even more with a little bit of emotion. It's been also said in a recent interview that we are going to be getting new scenes and new interactions between characters, because this is now voice acted. It is now given them the ability to be able to tell stories a bit more, get the characters to interact a little bit more. And there are things that you may miss because of this, because there are going to be branching choices that you make within the game that will then give you different dialogue when going through Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. I do feel as time goes on, there might be a few other new things that are included in the Ivalice Chronicles version of Final Fantasy Tactics, but we will just have to wait and see. I really do think they'll add some things, and I'm very hopeful that maybe we might get Clive as additional character. As of right now, what's being added and what the Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster is looking like, I'm happy with as a new player, but I am interested to hear what the opinions of the people that have played the classic version, that have played War of the Lions, are feeling when going into this. I probably won't try out the classic mode myself, but I'm interested to see how many people that have played the original Final Fantasy Tactics or even the War of the Lions version might dive into this. I'm very interested to see if that's going to be a possibility, but I'm going all in on the enhanced version, and there has been 3 difficulty options announced for the enhanced version. We have the normal vanilla version that's supposed to feel like the classic version. There is also an easy mode for those that might be struggling, and then there is the tactical mode, and apparently this can be quite difficult. So I'm very interested to see veterans tackle this tactical mode. Me, I think I'm probably going to stick with normal, and if I find it too easy, if we have the ability to change it as we're playing, I might switch it over to tactical. And the last new feature I want to talk about is State of the Realm. Now, Final Fantasy 16 players will know about this being included in that game. Final Fantasy 14 players might know this as a podcast, but what State of the Realm is is when it comes to Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. It is a storytelling tool to allow you to keep up to date with what are the goings on of the world of Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. This was great in Final Fantasy 16 for those that wanted to keep up to date and know about the lore, and I'm really happy to see it here in Final Fantasy Tactics. But I'm just very excited for the experience to finally dive in to what might be the definitive version of the original Final Fantasy Tactics. And I very specifically chose my wording there by saying the definitive version of the original Final Fantasy Tactics because we now have some news about the War of the Lions content. But before we go into that, let me tell you about Instant Gaming, because Instant Gaming gives you the ability to get Steam games at incredible prices. If there is a Final Fantasy that you're looking for, or maybe there's a Final Fantasy you want to go back to and mod to get the best gameplay experience, Instant Gaming has it all. Even the latest releases and pre-orders at prices cheaper than Steam. So use the link down below and check it out. Not only will you be helping out the channel, but you'll be saving money for yourself. And I have a giveaway as well. All you've got to do is click the link down below, click the participate button, and then you're in the chance to win anything off Instant Gaming's website. So thank you to Instant Gaming and happy shopping. So the Wars of the Lion content, it has been confirmed that we are not getting it. Let's see what they had to say. They wanted this to be a respectable version of the original Final Fantasy Tactics. They thought about adding the content in, and when I say content, we have 2 extra jobs in both the Onion Knight and the Dark Knight. There is also Balthier from Final Fantasy XII, as well as Luzu from Final Fantasy Tactics A2. These are not going to be in the game, but it looks like all of the quality of life enhancements that War of the Lions brought to the table when it comes to Final Fantasy Tactics will be included, and that does include the way to obtain Cloud, because I believe in the original version you had to go quite far into the story to be able to get him, and it was a little bit late for Cloud to join the party and really invest in him. And in the War of the Lions version they changed that to be much earlier. That has carried on in this version, so I am assuming that all of those quality of life when it comes to unlocking jobs, or maybe things that you have to do when it comes to the story, or maybe things to unlock when it comes to abilities that were really improved upon in the War of the Lions version are going to be applied here. But when it comes to the content, none of it is here. Don't expect it, and this is probably gonna maybe anger a lot of people. Some people might be happy with it. Me, as a new player, I really don't mind. I will roll with anything. Of course, extra content is always good content. I was in the same boat when it came to the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, because 1 through to 6, whether it was on the PSP or the Game Boy Advance, had extra dungeons, extra content for you to go through, as well as additional jobs in Final Fantasy V, and the Pixel remasters didn't have that included. But I very much enjoyed my experience with the Pixel remasters. I was glad and happy that they respected and paid homage to the original versions of these games. But I am an advocate, if you're going to be able to throw more content in, give me more content, and the same applies here for Final Fantasy Tactics, but we're not getting it, and that's unfortunate, but I'm okay with it. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on that. Though that being said, I really do think that there is still a few things they're keeping close to their chest that we might see further up to a release that might entice us a little bit more to be excited about. But as of right now, the only new content we have is the voice acting, the new script to support that voice acting, the quality of life improvements that seem to be carried from the War of the Lions versions and beyond what they've included here in this Ivalice Chronicles version. And you have 2 modes to play, the classic version or the enhanced version. I really think there's a lot here, and I see there's a lot of discussion that this isn't enough. This shouldn't be a thing. They should be giving us everything in this version. But after reading these interviews and seeing the passion that's going into just respecting and paying homage to the original Final Fantasy Tactics, I'm happy that as a Final Fantasy fan, and I'm very interested to see what they do include. We'll finish up this video by talking about the soundtrack. I've listened to the Final Fantasy Tactics soundtrack, whether it is the versions that have been played in Final Fantasy XIV or just general tracks that have been in my Final Fantasy music playlist, and I think the Final Fantasy Tactics soundtrack is incredible. And the fact that it's been confirmed that there is no new music or remastered music, I'm happy with that. I think the music should be untouched, and it has aged incredibly well, and excited to listen to these tracks in action to the scenes that they are supposed to play out, because I've just listened to them out of context, so I'm excited for that. So that's everything when it comes to Final Fantasy Tactics The Ivalice Chronicles. No Wars of the Lion content included, but it seems like it is a real good and respectful homage to the original version. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to visit Instant Gaming if you want some Steam games at incredible prices. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.